Vic, what page?
4, top of page 4.
Got it. Stephen, I need your help. Mr. Cormier, right?
Yes, sir.
You have 2 felony warrants for your arrest now. 2 felony warrants for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 for aggravated assault of a family member, 1 for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. You've made bond on our interference case, but it looks like they just filed on 10/10, which was about 8 days ago, 2 felony assault cases. So we have to take you into custody. You do have a lawyer coming today?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to verify that the warrants are valid. If they are valid, I have to take you into custody. You're being held at that right now at no bond. So at some point you'll get in front of a magistrate, and I don't know if they'll set you a bond, but I'll have you talk to your lawyer today as well. Okay? Goes with you.
I didn't see one earlier, so.
All right, page 6.
Do you see 2 felony?
I don't know what to say.
You mind bringing him out?
He's in the box.
Come up, Mr. Cormier. I mean, I'm showing the ag assault is active though.
Because in the system, it will show that because it was filed, but the actual arrest warrant has not been signed by a judge establishing that there's probable cause for his arrest.
Judge, in J-Web, it doesn't reflect the open air.
And he actually got arrested and they let him out of jail because of this issue. And the magistrate obviously reviewed that
Crazy.
as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
This is,
Judge, we're gonna contact Intech to see what the issue may or may not be at this point. Hold up, we're doing that right now.
while you guys are doing that, we're going to do probable cause in our case. Mr. Cormier, you're charged with interference to the duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 4th, 2024, officers conducted a traffic stop for the defendant failing to signal when changing lanes. The officer made contact with the defendant and told him why he was pulled over. The officer identified him with his driver's license and ran the defendant and discovered the defendant had multiple warrants. The officer asked the defendant to step out of the vehicle multiple times, but the defendant continued to ask why. The officer told the defendant if he did not comply, he would be removed from the vehicle, which the defendant replied, "I guess we can try that shit." The defendant eventually stepped out of the vehicle, but the officer attempted to detain him, and the defendant kept pulling his hands away from the officers and kept trying to turn around so the officers could not place handcuffs on him. The officer eventually detained the defendant and walked him over to the patrol vehicle, but the officers had to use force to get the defendant inside the back of the unit, due to the defendant using his body and the door frame to actively push away from the patrol unit.
What happened with the felony cases? I'd like to know how dangerous of a person Mr. Cormier is.
Yes, Your Honor. We have on October 9th, 2024, the officers were dispatched to a shooting call at a residence. The officers met with the complainant, who stated he got into an argument with the defendant that turned into a fight. The next day, the complainant got into an argument with the defendant's father that turned into a fight, but that was later reconciled. The defendant, however, was still angry and told the complainant that he wanted to fight, pulled a pistol out of his waistband, pointed at the complainant, and discharged the pistol. The shot missed, and the defendant
Discharged a pistol pointing at someone?
Yes, Your Honor. And then following the shot missing, the defendant ran away, and a 3-year-old child was in the vicinity of the complainant where the shot was pointed at, and the mother is a witness to the events.
Is that part and parcel with the deadly weapon as well, or is that a different?
It is. One moment, Your Honor. It's part and parcel, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Cormier, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. In our case, I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with the complaining witness in this case and not to be in possession of weapons. You have a Texas driver license. You are not allowed to drive. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months. I'm going to have you sign an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. Do you understand?
Okay.
If you want to drive, go get a license, get liability insurance, and then I can take this off. But until that point, do not drive. I'm also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of dope, I'm going to put you in jail. Do you understand? Let me make something perfectly clear to you. I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every person of Harris County. If I find that you become a danger, I'm going to revoke your bond and I'm going to make it sky high. Do you understand?
So,
On this affidavit, I'm also going to have that you are not to be in possession of any weapons. If I find that you have a weapon, likewise, I will have a contempt hearing. Do you understand? So I don't know what's going to happen now. I want to see what they say first about, because Mr. Living, he scares me.
I get that. It's
You
just
know?
that at this point in time, there is no warrant.
I get it,
So
but I don't know what,
Holding him in a courtroom with no warrant is kind of my issue with it, if that makes sense.
I get it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send him for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, he has in his system, and then I'm going to have him come right back.
Okay.
You need to go take a drug test right now, and then you must come back. If you fail to go take the drug test, if you fail to come back, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. And I'm going to tell you now, no more PR bonds. Do you understand? Okay. Come on.
They had time to approach the judge this morning about the PC, and I have not heard back, so. And we can certainly take it into grand jury or go upstairs.
Well, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a whole host of conditions on him. You know, I'm going to tell you now, you're lucky that you're here. You know, one false move in this very short life that we have, you could be spending the next 40 to 50 years of your life in a 6x9 box. One false move. It is a real travesty that a lot of people have guns and there's just no need. You know, when you use and when you have something like that, a short second, you can kill someone. And when that happens, your life's over. Multiple lives are over. Multiple families are over in the short second of something so stupid as an argument. When you make a decision like that, it's a lifetime decision that you can never crawl out of, never walk away from. Think before you act. Sometimes you have but a nanosecond to do it. But I'm going to tell you now, Mr. Cormier, I'm going to do everything in my power to protect the public. Do you understand? I'm putting a GPS monitor and I don't want you out in the middle of the night. Do you understand? You have a weapon. You pick up any type of weapon, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months every single time. Do you understand? Because it's an offense in and of itself. I had him sign an affidavit that he's not supposed to have any weapons.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm going to give him a curfew, and I don't want him to hang out with any bad, irreputable people. No. What are you doing with yourself now? Are you working, going to school?
I work.
Where?
Oh, for Port Houston.
Doing what?
Operator.
What are your hours?
7 to 9.
Okay. You have a 10 p.m. curfew. Do you understand? 10 PM to, you said what time you work? 6,
7
7? Okay, 6 AM,
6 a.m.
10 to 6 AM is your curfew. You must charge this thing on a daily basis. If the battery goes dead, so does your bond. Do you understand? All right, okay.
Thanks, Judge.
I would be on the lookout because I'm telling you now, it's just a moment's notice before you get hit with 2 felony warrants. So you better be on the lookout. It's gonna happen any minute. Gets the device today.
Yes, Judge.
Okay, all right.
Judge,
Okay, guys, thanks.
How much time?
Oh, reset.
Yeah, I mean, the case is 250 days old. So I'll give you 30 days now. But at that time, you got to come back. You got to tell us what you want to do. We set cases for trial at 180 days. Your case is now 200 and what?
57 days.
Yeah, you have 30 days. At that time, you got to be back here and let me know what you want to do. You must either accept a plea bargain agreement or I'm going to set your case for trial. Do you understand? Okay,
Is discovery complete and are there any offers?
Steph,
To be honest with you, Your Honor, I don't believe I've looked at the
I
district.
know that you haven't looked at it, but
Looking at it, Judge, it does look like discovery is complete. I can put a record on it.
please, okay, done.
All right, thanks, Judge.